Once, in the heart of Africa, where the sun kissed the earth and the winds whispered secrets to the trees, there was a kingdom that seemed unbreakable, until the night a brother's envy turned its strength into dust. Join me as we journey into this interesting story. Please subscribe to the channel. Now let's dive in. Some years ago, in the heart of African savanna, where the baobab trees stretched their thick arms toward the sky and the rivers flowed like silver threads through the golden grass, there was once a kingdom called Zumbara. Zumbara was a place of great beauty and wealth, known for its grand palaces, bustling markets, and the laughter of its people filled the air like the sweet song of birds. The kingdom was ruled by King Kato, a man as strong as a lion and as wise as the elders who sat beneath the ancient trees, telling stories of the old days. King Kato was loved by all. He ruled with a firm but gentle hand, always fair and just. The people of Zumbara were happy, their bellies full, and their hearts content. King had a beautiful queen, Amina, who was as graceful as the gazelle and as kind as the first rain after the dry season. Together, they were like the sun and the moon, bringing light and peace to their land. But as with all good things, there was a shadow lurking at the edge of Zumbara. That shadow was King Kato's brother, Mfalme. Unlike Kato, who was loved by the people, Mfalme was a man of dark thoughts and darker deed. He envied his brother's throne, the way the people adored him, and the power that came with being king. Mfalme's heart was like a dry riverbed, cracked and empty, longing for the waters of power to fill it. Mfalme's envy grew each day, feeding on the whispers of the wind that carried tales of Kato's greatness. He began to plot, scheming like a hyena waiting for the lion to turn its back. He gathered those who were unhappy, those whose greed made them blind to the happiness of others, and together they formed a plan to take the throne of Zumbara for themselves. One night, as the full moon hung high in the sky, casting its silver light over the kingdom, Mfalme made his move. With the help of his loyal followers, he crept into the palace, his heart pounding with the excitement of what was to come. The palace guards, having been bribed with promises of wealth and power, let him pass without a word. Mfalme found his brother sleeping peacefully, unaware of the betrayal that was about to unfold. With a cold smile, Mfalme approached the bed, his hand gripping the hilt of his sword. But just as he was about to strike, King Kato stirred. His eyes fluttered open, and for a moment they locked with Mfalme's, filled with confusion and hurt. "Kato, you have ruled long enough," Mfalme hissed, his voice low and venomous. "It is time for a new king, one who will not be so soft, so weak." Kato, still groggy from sleep, tried to reason with his brother. "Mfalme, we are brothers. There is enough room in Zumbara for both of us. You don't have to do this." But Mfalme's heart had turned to stone. Without another word, he drew his sword and struck. The kingdom of Zumbara would never be the same again. When the sun rose the next morning, it shone on a kingdom that had fallen. Word spread quickly through the villages. King Kato was dead, and Mfalme had taken the throne. People were shocked, their hearts heavy with grief. The skies seemed darker, the rivers slower, as if the very land itself was mourning the loss of its king. But Mfalme did not care. He wore the crown with pride, reveling in the power he had long craved. He made grand speeches in the market square, promising the people that he would make Zumbara greater than ever before. The people saw through his words. They knew that a lion who betrays his brother cannot be trusted. Mfalme's rule was harsh. He raised taxes, took the best crops for himself, and punished those who dared to speak against him. The people of Zumbara, once full of laughter and song, grew silent and fearful. The markets, once bustling with trade, were now empty, as the merchants could no longer afford to sell their goods. The fields that had once been green and bountiful now lay barren, for the farmers had no strength left to tend to them. Queen Amina, heartbroken by the loss of her husband, withdrew from the public eye. She watched from the shadows as Mfalme tore apart the kingdom that Kato had built with love and care. But Amina was not one to sit idly by. She knew that Zumbara needed a leader, someone who could bring back the light that had been lost. And so she began to plan. Amina gathered those who were still loyal to Kato, those who remembered the days of peace and plenty. They met in secret, under the cover of night, in hidden places where Mfalme's spies could not find them. They whispered of rebellion, of taking back the throne and restoring Zumbara to its former glory. Mfalme, in his arrogance, believed that his reign was secure. He did not see the storm that was brewing, the anger and sorrow that were building in the hearts of the people. He continued to rule with an iron fist, blind to the cracks that were forming in the foundation of his kingdom. One day, as Mfalme sat on his throne, surrounded by his riches, a messenger burst into the room. "Your Majesty," the messenger panted, "there is a rebellion in the southern villages. The people are rising up against you." Mfalme laughed, waving the messenger away. "Let them rise," he sneered. "They will fall just as quickly." But Mfalme underestimated the power of a people united. The rebellion spread like wildfire from village to village as more and more people joined the fight. They were led by Amina, who had become a symbol of hope for the people of Zumbara. With her at the helm, the rebellion grew stronger each day. Mfalme tried to crush the rebellion, sending his soldiers to the southern villages. But the people fought back with a strength born of desperation and love for their fallen king. Mfalme's soldiers, who had once been loyal to him, began to desert, joining the rebellion instead. They had seen the darkness that Mfalme brought to the land, and they wanted no part of it. As the rebellion gained momentum, Mfalme grew more and more desperate, fortified his palace, surrounding himself with what was left of his loyal guard. But even within the palace walls, he could hear the distant roar of the people, growing louder with each passing day. Finally, the day came when the rebellion reached the gates of the palace. Amina led the charge, her heart filled with the memory of Kato and the hope of a better future for Zumbara. The people, armed with whatever they could find, stormed the palace, determined to take back their kingdom. Mfalme, cornered and alone, tried to flee, but there was nowhere to run. People of Zumbara had had enough of his cruelty, and they were not about to let him escape. They captured him, dragging him before Amina, who stood tall and proud. "True queen, your time is over, Mfalme," Amina said, her voice steady and strong. "You have destroyed what was once great, but today we will begin to rebuild." Mfalme, defeated and broken, could only bow his head. He knew that his reign had come to an end, and that the kingdom he had coveted so much was now lost to him forever. With Mfalme imprisoned, Amina took her place as the rightful ruler of Zumbara. She worked tirelessly to heal the wounds that Mfalme had inflicted on the land and the people. Under her guidance, the fields once again turned green, the markets bustled with life, and the laughter of the people returned to the air. Zumbara rose from the ashes of its fall, stronger and more united than ever before. People who had once lived in fear now held their heads high, proud of the kingdom they had fought to save. And as for Amina, she ruled with the wisdom and strength that Kato had always believed it, leading Zumbara into a new era of peace and prosperity. The story of Zumbara's fall and rise was told for generations to come, a reminder of the dangers of envy and the power of unity. The people never forgot the lessons they had learned, nor the sacrifices that had been made. And though the kingdom had been brought to its knees, it had risen again, testament to the resilience and strength. People, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. See you in the next video.